viewers, welcome to the program Doing Research, the What, Why and How of it. In any discipline, if we see, research occupies a major place in it, and it plays a major role, an important role in the development of knowledge in that particular discipline and also in application of those knowledge developed in the discipline to different settings. Now when we say research, it appears a very high sounding term, and students usually feel that research is something very big, hard and difficult topic, and they start with a negative approach from the beginning. Like for example, students have a fear for mathematics subject. Okay, they approach the subject with like fear and anxiety. Okay, and whether it is a difficult or easy subject, how do we approach it? That makes a difference. Now when we have to define research, what exactly it is, what do we mean by research, we can say that research is a very systematic process. It follows a systematic method. Okay. Now if it is very systematic process, whatever we do in a systematic way, it should not be any difficult, we should not face any difficulty in implementing it. So that also applies with the research process. If it is very systematic, then we should not find any difficulty in understanding and doing research. Okay. Now if you have to formally define what exactly is research, we can see here that research is a systematic approach to study any particular issue, event, phenomenon or concept. Okay. So it follows a systematic process. For example, if we talk about like studying the mental health of the elderly population, or studying the resilience level in the elderly population. Okay. Or we can study how patients with cancer or trauma victims, they cope with that situation. So we can do research on this, and it follows a systematic process. As we see in the slide here, that it is also evidence based. It is a systematic process, and along with that it is evidence based also. That means in research we collect data from the field, and based on that data we reach a particular conclusion. We analyze the data and reach a particular conclusion. So that is why it is called that research is evidence based. And also in research we talk about reliability, validity, and it is conducted in a controlled setting. So this also, as we see here, that it is the study of a phenomenon or concept, but it also is evidence based, and it also talks about having reliability, validity, and it is conducted in a controlled setting. So that means we cannot do research in a random way. Okay. It follows a very systematic process, and it is data driven and evidence based, and we talk about having reliable measures, valid measures to collect data from the field, and also we talk about conducting the research study in a very controlled setting, so that whatever findings we get, the findings are due to only those variables that we have manipulated or we have studied. It is not due to any other extraneous factors. In the research also we focus on these different aspects, because research focuses on different aspects of a particular phenomenon. So here, as we say, it focuses on the relationship aspect. That means in research we find out relationship between two different aspects or two different variables. For example, we can study the self-concept and the mental health of the children, how self-concept of the children relates to their mental health. Okay. Similarly, we can find out how mental health relates to adjustment. If one is having better adjustment, does it affect the mental health? So here we are, one aspect of the research focuses on finding out the relationship between two variables. Similarly, another aspect of research is focusing on the difference. Here we find out how two things differ from each other. For example, here we can find out gender difference with regard to resilience, let us say, or gender difference with regard to mental health, for example. So difference aspect focuses on how two variables or how a particular sample differ with regard to two variables. Okay. So relationship is studied in the research. Simultaneously we also focus on different aspects, and then we also find out the impact. Impact means like how, for example, emotional intelligence affects the job satisfaction. What impact does emotional intelligence have on job satisfaction? Okay. So here we focus on how a particular variable is having an influence or impacting another variable in a particular sample. Okay. And the fourth aspect is prediction. So research also focuses on prediction. For example, based on the achievement scores of students, we can predict in which field the particular student can do well in future. Okay. So basically, when we see, the research usually focuses on or highlights these four different aspects: finding out relationship between different variables, finding out difference, finding out studying the impact of certain variables on some aspects, and studying the finding out the prediction of a particular issue or phenomenon. Okay. So basically, research focuses on all these aspects. Okay. So we can say that research is a very systematic study, and it involves all these processes. It is a way of thinking, and it consists of different skills. Okay. Because as I said in the beginning, that research is a very systematic process, and anything systematic, we will not have any difficulty in following that and implementing that. Usually the students have fear about how to carry out a research study. If we think in terms of this, that this is a very systematic process and it follows different steps or procedures, and then we are aware about all these steps and procedures, then we will it will be easy for us to conduct a research study. So as you see here, it is a very systematic process. It is a way of thinking actually. Okay. And it consists of certain skills, and it is evidence-based. Evidence-based because it is data. It is based on the data that we collect from the field. Okay, and it is conducted in a controlled context, and we talk about reliability and validity of the findings. Okay. Now, this in a brief is about what we mean by research. Okay. Now, the next aspect is like why of research. When we talk about why do we do research, this focuses on mainly three aspects. One is description, explanation, and then prediction. Description, as you are aware about, like it focuses on describing a particular phenomenon. For example, what is the prevalence of depression among the adolescents. Okay. So this will describe about the prevalence of depression among the adolescents. So description mainly focuses on finding out the what. Okay. It doesn't address the why of a particular phenomenon, but it addresses the what of a particular phenomenon. Similarly, for example, we can find out the level of self-concept among preschool children. Okay. So this gives you the existing status of a particular phenomenon or a variable in the particular sample population. Okay. The next is that like explanation. Okay. The main research, why do we conduct research? One was to describe the things, to give the status of the things at the field level. And the second is that to explain some concepts or explain certain variables or explain the phenomenon, why does it happen in this way. And the third is that prediction. So earlier what I had described, that there are different aspects of a research, that is relationship, finding out relationship, difference, finding out the impact, and doing prediction. So this, when we are talking about the why of research, this is also related to that. So mainly, broadly, we can say that the why of research is centered around description, explanation, and prediction of different phenomenon. Okay. Now, here in the context of describing the why of research, we can focus on the different types of research. Okay, because when we talk about research, let us know what are the different types of research that are there. When we talk about different types of research, mainly it is either based on applications. We can divide research into two types, and then based on the objectives, we can have four types of research, and finally based on the mode of inquiry, we can have three types of research. Now let us discuss each of these research one by one. So first, based on the applications, we can see here that we can have two types of research, that is pure research or theoretical research, and then applied research. Now what do we mean by theoretical research? The theoretical research mainly focuses on studying the concept or the variables. For example, if we study about attention or memory in psychology, we can say that it is theoretical research. So here we focus on studying the particular concept in detail, and then Here the pure research is also concerned about developing theories and then testing these theories. For example, theories related to memory or theories related to attention. So study is done on this. Theoretical research focuses on studying in detail the nature and the characteristics of these particular concepts or constructs in detail and then develop theories and then test these theories. Based on applications, we can have pure research or an applied research. So in theoretical research or pure research, we are focusing on studying the concept itself. In applied research, whatever knowledge we are gaining out of the studying a particular concept or construct, that we are applying. For example, motivation. Okay. Now the knowledge of motivation that we have gained from theoretical research, we can apply it in the school context. Let us say, for example, how students can be motivated to excel in their academic achievement, or maybe in the sports context also. The knowledge gained out of motivation can be used to motivate the sports persons in case of failure. Okay. So theoretical research and applied research, they go together. Okay. And then next thing is that based on the objectives. Based on the objectives, we can have 4 types of research: descriptive research, correlational research, explanatory research and exploratory research. Now, what do we mean by descriptive research here? It describes the things. Earlier we have mentioned that one aspect of research is describing. So descriptive research, it gives the what of a particular phenomenon. It describes the things. And then correlational research, it assesses the relationship between 2 variables. For example, as I said, emotional intelligence, how does it relate with job satisfaction? Okay, is there a relationship between these 2? Or for example, how does adjustment relate to mental health of the students? Okay, so it finds out the relationship between 2 variables. But here this correlational research addresses the association, finding out the association between the 2 variables, but it does not focus on why this association or this relationship is there. Okay. So that is one disadvantage of this correlation research, is that it doesn't address the causality or the cause and effect between the 2 variables. For example, if I say poor academic achievement and internet addiction, okay, there is a relationship between these 2 aspects, that internet addiction is related to poor academic achievement of the students. Now this does not answer which causes the other one, whether the poor academic achievement is due to internet addiction or internet addiction is due to poor academic achievement. Okay. So this why of the phenomenon, this is addressed by the next type of research, that is explanatory research. So in explanatory research, we focus on finding out the cause and effect relationship. Okay. So and here the variables are manipulated and there is random assignment of the sample or the treatment variables. So that is why explanatory type of research, it follows the experimental design, which I'll be discussing later on in detail. So it follows experimental design and there is the research is conducted in a controlled setting. So that is why external variables are controlled and the findings that we get are more conclusive. So internal validity is high in this type of research, and whatever findings we are getting, these are more conclusive. Okay. And the fourth one is exploratory research, where we have limited knowledge of the field. There we go for exploratory research. The next one is based on the inquiry mode. Okay. Here we can have 3 types: quantitative research, which is focused on the number. Here the data is quantity driven. And then we have qualitative research, where more focus is on description rather than the analysis part. And here it follows a flexible design. It is in the quantitative aspect, we have more structured approach, and there is a predetermined procedure, set of steps which we follow, whereas qualitative design is more dynamic and flexible. And the mixed method, it refers to a combination of both quantitative and qualitative design. Coming to the next aspect, the what of research and why of research, and then the how of research. How do we conduct research? So there are different steps in conducting a research. The first step focuses on topic selection. That is the major part, topic selection, then review of literature, research questions. Okay. Now how do we select a topic? All the research, it starts with an idea. Okay. So when we decide, try to select a topic, it starts with an idea. Now how do we generate this idea and how do we develop this idea? For this you need to either talk to your seniors, talk to your teachers, discuss with the experts, refer to the books or the research articles, okay. And then you can also observe yourself and others in the surrounding and then get ideas. Now, getting ideas is one thing, but then how do you know whether that idea is research worthy or not? Whether we can conduct research on that particular idea. Okay. So for that we need to focus on a few things. We need to see whether it reflects going beyond the known things. For example, like it should not be whatever research has been already conducted, we are taking up the same topic again. Okay. So that means ideas should be focusing on going beyond the known thing. Okay. Focusing on those aspects where the research is lacking. There are research gaps. And also we have to see the feasibility in terms of the human resources, in terms of the financial resources, in terms of the material resources also. And another thing is that interest, because research is a very long process and it requires time, effort, money and everything. So the topic should be interesting enough for you to give that much amount of time and energy and effort so that you can continue the research journey and complete the research. Okay. So whenever you have any idea of for doing a particular research, you have to see whether that idea is research worthy or not. Okay. Now once you decide your topic, finalize your topic, then comes the review of literature. Review of literature is you collect literature with regard to the particular topic that you have selected by referring to different books, journals and even doing electronic search, looking at different databases, handbooks and all the other materials. Okay. So you collect what are the different studies that have been already done with regard to this particular area. So here whenever we do a particular research on a particular topic, we have to go back to the theory for this topic. Okay, so we have to be aware about the different theoretical perspective related to this particular topic. So review of literature helps you in different ways. One is that it helps you in gaining the theoretical perspective related to the topic that you have selected. Second thing, it helps you in gaining knowledge about the different types of studies that have been conducted related to this particular area. Okay, and also it helps you finding out the research gaps. So and all this helps you in refining your topic and improving upon your topic. Okay, and there is a difference when we talk about review of literature. There is a difference between summary of literature and review of literature. In summary, usually what we do is that we summarize the different studies, but review of literature goes beyond that and evaluates the different studies and finds out what are the main points, the key assumptions or the key findings and the contradictions or different lines of thought coming in there and the research gaps basically finding. Okay. And then we come to the research questions. Now research questions is a main thing here because it shows how we are planning to proceed further. Okay. So the importance of research question is that it should be very clearly stated in the research, because it guides what kind of research design we will follow, what kind of sampling technique we will follow later on, and how we will analyze the data later on. Okay. So research questions is a very important aspect here, and we have to be very clearly state this research questions or the research problems. Okay. Step 2 relates to methodology. Okay. So after we decide the topic, we do the review of literature and decide on the frame our research question or research problem, we go on to the methodology section. Okay. Here in the methodology section, we state the objectives which are very specifically stated in terms of, like for example, if you are studying self-concept and mental health in children, we will write to study mental health of the children, then to study the self-concept of the children, then to study the relationship between self-concept and mental health among the children, so on. And related to each objective, we have to propose the hypothesis also here. And the third important thing under methodology is that the research design. Okay. Now research design, when we talk about it, talks about like we have different types of research design. For example, based on the nature of investigation, we have experimental design, non-experimental design, quasi-experimental design, and correlational design. The experimental research design, here the main focus is on manipulation of the variables and randomization. Okay, and these experiments are conducted in a control setting. Now, in quasi-experimental, not all the features of experimental design are there. It is maybe like the randomization is not there, manipulation of the variable is there, so it doesn't follow the features of a true experimental design in toto. Okay. Correlational research design is that it is focusing on finding out the different relationship between the different variables. Okay. So similarly, we have the next is that sample. Okay, sample also we have to follow proper technique of sampling to decide on the sample. Okay, because sample is a representative of the population that we are going to study. So that is why sampling techniques need to be followed in a very proper way, in an adequate way, so that whatever inferences we draw out of this thing, that can be generalized to the population. Okay. So, and then we have tools where we have to follow the standardized tools, and then ethical issues need to be followed while conducting the research. So, all these are part of your research proposal or synopsis. Now, after we frame our methodology, the design, and the step 3 is data collection. We collect the data is coded, and then analysis is done. And step 4 will be the findings. After we collect the data, analyze it, we have to present the findings in form of tabular form or in graphical form, graph form. And then those findings will be then discussed and we arrive at conclusions. Okay. And then we have to discuss the implications of these findings. Okay. Because ultimately whatever research we do, it has some implications that we have to highlight. Okay. Step 5 will be like we have to provide the references, and as you know in psychology we follow the APA style for references. And step 6 will be like after we conduct the research entirely, we have to prepare, we can go for preparing a research paper, and we can refer to different journals. They have guidelines as to how to prepare a research paper, because ultimately whatever research you do, you have to disseminate the findings of this research to the wider public. So that is why research paper can be prepared and that can be disseminated through the different journals. Okay. So ultimately, whenever as we see in the entire doing research, the what, why, and how of it, usually we can summarize it as having 4 broad aspects. First, we have to decide the topic. Then we have to plan the topic, and then we have to conduct the research, and then we have to report the research in the form of writing a dissertation or a paper. Okay. So for any further information, you can always contact us in swatipatra@ignou.ac.in. Thank you.